so far, if you look at a lot of our metrics on HR also tend to be very intangible. So we'll have to make sure that we have the right mix of tangible and intangible measures. For example, product development. How quick are you to get the product in the market is a measure for product development. To me, if it's about capability development, what's the pace or rate at which you're able to develop your people to be able to come up to speed on the capabilities needed in the organization? But at the same time, I think we will continue to have some intangible measures around culture, around values deployment, around learning organizations, So I think it'll have to be a mix of both. And I guess they will get evolved as as the role evolves. But to my mind, I think measures need to be both output and outcome measures, because we sometimes tend to look at just the output of like, okay, we've done so many trainings or we've had so many man-days of training done. But we need to look at the outcome. What's the business outcome that you're creating? You see several surveys that are done, and you always see that the leadership gap is one of the biggest gaps that keeps coming in several CEO surveys. And the concern around, do we have the right leaders? Do we have enough succession? Do we have the right capabilities? I think those questions are still very, you see a significant gap in organizations. And if we had actually started thinking on the lines that you're talking about, I'm sure we wouldn't have so many gaps. So I really think that we still have some, I think we have a long way to go. I really don't think we are still thinking very strategically about these questions around capability and the capability gaps. Of course, there are organizations, and like you said, I think it depends a lot on how the CEOs are thinking, and also how the HR function is evolving in those organizations. And I'm sure there are CEOs who think of it, but in my own experience, I think we have a fair bit of ground to cover on that. I would not think that the boards are very independent in the way they are constituted. I think the role of advisory board, the kind of people you get on the advisory board who can ask you these challenging and significantly important questions about capability, about leadership, about succession. I think board has a huge role to play in pushing you around capability and succession, which again, in my mind, the boards in India, I don't know, I don't think there is enough evidence to say that boards are really playing that role, especially in India.